Welcome to the MAXQDA Getting Started video tutorial. As the title suggests, in this video you can learn everything you need to know to get started with MAXQDA in just a few minutes. When you start MAXQDA, the first thing you'll always see is this screen. You can either open an existing project or create a new one. So let's create a new one now. Then we are typing in our username. I'll simply choose user. The name is going to be especially important when you're working in teams. It makes it a lot easier to keep an overview about who worked on which documents or codes. We save the preferences and choose a location on our hard drive to save our MAXQDA project. The project file on MAXQDA is like a container that includes all elements of your analysis. I'll name this one My Research. After creating a project, you do not need to save it manually over and over again. MAXQDA always saves your progress automatically. As you can see, this project is completely empty yet. The layout in front of you is the classic MAXQDA layout. We are going to get a closer look at each of the windows and its functions one after another. First of all, we want to import some data, of course. So let's get a closer look at the document system. MAXQDA offers a variety of possibilities to import your data. I am only showing you two in this tutorial. Your first option is to right-click on the folder Documents, which opens a context menu, and to choose Import Documents. As you can see here, there are further import options for special types of data, but we skipped those in the Getting Started tutorial. For now, we just want to import simple text documents. To do so, we choose the documents. You can choose several documents at the same time by using the Shift button and simply import them into the project. Another option is to find the documents on your hard drive and simply drag and drop them into the Documents folder. Now the documents are imported and I can open them by double-clicking on them. When I do so, the content of each document is displayed in the central window, the document browser. If I want to make some changes in the text, for example, I can switch to the Edit mode here, and then I can work on my text in the way I'm used to from other word processing programs. Of course, I can also create a completely new text document. To do so, I right-click on the document folder and choose Create Document. Now I can change the name of the document and can fill it with content by using the Edit mode. The most important function of MAXQDA is data coding. In this case, we want to code a text. Let's say, for example, I am reading this text written by Kelly, in which she gives some statements regarding the topic of life satisfaction. She mentions that she feels passion for her studies in music. I consider this interesting and I want to code this section accordingly. To do so, we'll take a closer look at the code system, which in this case is of course still empty. To create a new code, I right-click on the code system and choose New Code in the context menu. In the next window, I choose a name for my code. This can be more than a single word, of course. In this case, I think an appropriate code name would be Being Passionate About Something. Also, I can choose a color. In this case, I choose red. Now I'm going back to the text in the document browser and mark the section I want to code. In this case, I marked the whole sentence that includes the word passion. Now I can simply drag and drop this section onto the code, or in the same way I could drag and drop the code onto the marked section. As you can see, there appeared a red coding stripe and the code name Being Passionate About Something. This is a so-called coding. In MAXQDA, this distinction is significant. Codes are unique and serve as anchor points for your analysis. If you apply a code to a text, it will automatically create a coding. A code can of course include many different codings. In this case, for example, I realized that Kelly mentioned several times how important music is to her. When I mark these sections and drag and drop them onto the code, I create further codings. Of course, I can also apply the same code within another document. Let me open the text by Jack, for example. While reading it, I realized that for him it's equally important to have a job he's passionate about. Again, I mark this section and drag and drop it onto the code or the other way around. You can see now that there appeared numbers next to the documents in our document system. These numbers show you how many codings this document includes. You can find these numbers in the code system as well. Here they show you how many codings to this code have already been created. To learn about the next steps in a project, we are going to skip a part of the coding process and simply continue with the same project as it may look after the first round of coding. So I created several codes and applied them to various sections in the text. You can see this, for example, by looking at this document that contains various codings in different colors. Accordingly, the code system contains a larger number of codes that are separated in categories and subcategories. To create this kind of structure is fairly easy. Simply drag and drop a code onto another code or drag and drop it back onto the first level. So, after having coded my 3 text files, I want to get a better overview over frequently mentioned topics. In order to keep it simple, I am going to stick with the code being passionate about something, which I used 9 times. To get an overview, I start by activating this code simply by clicking on the little gray dot next to it. The code is now highlighted in red, which means it's activated. Now I'm switching to the document system and activate in the same way all documents I'm interested in. If I'd only activate the file Kelly, I'd only get an overview over all the text passages in which Kelly talks about the topic in question. In this case, however, I want to compare all 3 texts and therefore I activate them all. As you can see, the 4th MAXQDA window, the Retrieved Segments window, is filled with content now as well. What we see here is a list of all sections in all 3 documents that are coded with the code being passionate about something. A small info box gives you the details about the document containing the section. On the right side, you see the text of the coded section. By clicking on the info box, the document browser automatically jumps to this very section in its origin file. This is very helpful when you want to check the original context of a coded section. In the same way, you can compare all text sections relating to a specific topic. You can adjust your codes, add new codes, or delete old ones. How you proceed in detail depends upon your methodological approach, of course. But with these basics, you're ready to create your first MAXQDA project and start coding right away. Or of course, you can continue watching our video tutorials and get further information about working with MAXQDA and its various tools.